Hello. All right, we're going to look at the user interface in this video. I'm just going to go over several of the basics just to let you know how the interface itself works. Okay, so first thing, we looked at the map before. We saw how this worked. We saw how that we could jump to other regions. So let's just go ahead and just do that. Let's slide over here to just go to H. We'll go to H50 and we'll say jump to region. And then we'll do close. And you can see up here we're at H50 at 6 AU, which is the distance from the center. So we're 6.28 astronomical units from the center of the system. And our warp entry is 99%. So if I get closer to the center of the system, you will see that number dropping. Okay, so if you are not at 100% or very close to 100%, you can take damage and fail the jump. Okay, so this is gives you some interesting choices, especially if you're in combat and you're trying to get away from somebody or something. That gives you an opportunity to do something very drastic. Okay, so now that we're here in the system, you'll see that this has a purple value over it. That has 100, 100. And there's a couple of jumbled ones right there. So if I turn just a little bit, we can see it. There is a 10 hab, and then a 33 hab, and then an 78 hab. And I'll talk about habitability and planets in another video. So, all right. So this area across the top up here tells you how many torpedoes you have in stock, how many missiles you have in stock, what your maximum warp and what your maximum impulse is. These values are important. If you take damage and you realize I'm not going as fast, they can actually do damage to your impulse drive and slow you down. So we'll talk about that when we talk about the dry docks. So you have your 4 lasers, aft, what your current heading is. This is in gradients. We'll talk about gradients because that's a video almost all in itself. Temperature, this is the temperature of your warp core. We aren't using this right now, but it's an enhancement I hope to use in the near future. This is the distance in kilometers from the center of the sun. This is how many probes you have. That's how much cash you have. I'm broke. There's nothing. How many fighters that you have on board, how many troops you have on board, and that's what that is. Okay. So right here you see a previous and a next. If you go to the first one, there's 8 of these altogether. We'll talk about them. This is the systems that are available within 30 light years. Now you'll see it goes to 26. There may be some other systems out here that are closer, but this is just going to tell you the closest ones. And this one is special. This is the closest system that you have not visited yet. Okay, so this one is special right here. If I go 1 to the right, this tells me the current system. Okay, all planets are A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then you have G and H. Let's see, that one is F. Yeah, E, F, G, H, and that is all the systems you can have. So you can have a total of 8. Most systems have 4 or 5. The least you can have is 3. Okay. And if you hover over each one of these, it tells you the distance in light years. That is important if you go to the next one. Now the next one is empty. You can have up to 8 planets, but I don't have any established at this point. So this will allow you to navigate to those systems. So if I come back to here and I click on this one, I get a little navigation wheel and I can tell it to nav. Oh, I'm not. That won't take you to warp. Okay. It won't take you to warp unless it's safe. So it's safe now. So I can just go ahead and go to warp. And that takes me to hyperspace. Okay. Now, hyperspace, unlike a lot of games that you're probably used to, we don't have gates. You don't have lines between systems. You can fly to any system that you want. Okay. okay? And I am right-clicking the mouse. If I come here and I right-click the mouse, it's going to turn to the heading that I clicked at, and it's going to continue flying. It won't fly to a point, but it will fly to a heading. I can also use the ASDF keys to do navigation. So I can hold that, and I can zoom in, zoom out using my middle mouse button, and then a quick double click will stop your ship. Okay? All right. So that is that. Okay, so let's look down here real quick. We'll look at cargo. This is how many troops you have on board, which matches a lot of this stuff. The players asked for this because there's also more cargo that you can have that's not explained up here. So you'll notice there's a column here, there's another column here. So when you buy things from trading posts, that data ends up in this column to the right. Okay? So that is why that there is 2 columns here. Okay? All right. This button, this will let you left click. So if I click on a system just like this, I can either navigate there by clicking that, and it takes and turns my ship, or I can send a probe here.
Probe launched.
Okay, now I'm going to stop, double click. I don't want to enter that system yet. You'll see that probe goes over to that system and back. This is how you scout stars. So I'm going to go into probe mode, and I'm just going to click and launch some probes. Now if I'm out of probes, probe supply exhausted. Okay, so I've got to wait till those probes return to be able to fire some more. Now you'll see this star has is cyan, and it has a little planet right here. We know we visited the system. You'll see up there on that list, you'll see the right-hand column. Dark Helmet owns the 3rd planet, and that is representative of that. These are blue, which means there's no planets that meet my habitability, okay, that I'm looking for. So I can sit and launch probes and look for systems, and we'll talk about this more in a scouting video. And you can see you very quickly can scout sectors and systems. So I'm going to pull down in the top view. Now, if you notice, if I pull down in the top view, everything becomes square at that point. Oh, look, we have a green one. Now I'm going to hover over the green one. You can see it has a 92 habitability. So that system has a planet that I could have, build a base on, and could start my empire with that. And that's what the colors mean.